Welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to the 4th installment of Dick Rogers' Space Detective. We're back this month with another thrilling script, saved from the brink of oblivion by the efforts of the Northeast Radio Drama Society members, like Eleanor, Mike, myself, and our special guest today, Daniel Castle. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
We thought it would be fun to introduce our podcast audience to some of the other nerds, and we decided to start with Daniel since he was instrumental in helping us find this script.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wild ride.
I'm sure it'll be riveting.
Thanks. So, for those who aren't in the know, I have an independent radio show on WKUK, the public radio station in Sandwich, where I live.
Wait, where are you from?
Oh, yeah, Sandwich, Illinois. It's an hour outside of Chicago and home to the longest-running county fair in the state of Illinois.
I don't know. It sounds made up to me.
Anyway, go on, Dan. How did you find this script?
Yeah, so I mentioned our whole Dick Rogers project on my radio show, A Man's Home with Daniel Castle. I didn't get to choose the name. Airing weeknights from 7 p.m. to midnight on WKUK. And I got a call from a listener, and they told me their grandfather used to live in Cleveland, and he was a huge Dick Rogers superfan.
Wait, I thought no one even remembered Dick Rogers.
Apparently there are a few other weirdos like us, but the story goes that our grandfather, Vern Hasselblad, had a short-running recurring role on the show when he was 14 because his mother worked for WPUN, and they needed a kid. And he played Dick's junior space cadet Casper Clemenson for 3 glorious episodes before a new writer took over and abandoned that plotline.
Ah, yes, the curse of the revolving writer's room.
That sounds like it should be an episode. Dick Rogers and the curse of the revolving writer's room.
Yeah, and the whole thing is just Dick trying to go about his day while different writers constantly change the case and his surroundings.
But after that, Vern got almost obsessed with the show and was always hanging around the studio begging for copies of scripts and getting the occasional bit part on the show. You can imagine how I felt during this conversation thinking we had hit the mother lode, but
If it sounds too good to be true.
It usually is. I guess there had been a house fire in 2008, and this is going to be a serious downer, guys, but Vern actually died from smoke inhalation trying to save his Dick Rogers artifacts.
Yikes. A chilling reminder that fan is short for fanatic.
Yeah, it was obviously a horrible tragedy. I guess he had become a bit of a hoarder, and you know what can happen with a house that's overrun with papers and poorly maintained.
So it turned out that was the only script that survived?
Oh no, there were a few others, including one that never aired from Vern's run as the space cadet. But just before the fire, Vern started working on digitizing the scripts to help preserve the memory of Dick Rogers, and this was the only one he had completed. His granddaughter, Tricia, who had called in, is working on digitizing the remaining few scripts, and she'll send them to us as soon as she gets them done.
Wow. That actually was riveting. Sorry I was rude in the beginning. I just was feeling territorial.
Oh, that's okay. People are way ruder to me online. You see, I write erotica on the side, and some of the subject matter I get into can be a bit polarizing.
Oh, really?
That's a discussion for another time. For now, we'd like to thank Daniel and the family of Vern Hasselblad for bringing us Dick Rogers and the Perfect Stranger, written by Silas Reed and originally broadcast on July 13th, 1960. This episode presents Dick, presumably on a different space station than the Zengorpian problem, and with a sort of junior partner / assistant, Harry. It's a bit noir, a bit,
I'll say it. Star Trek.
Well, yeah, I guess. But we hope you'll enjoy it.
Welcome back, dear listeners, for more of the thrilling adventures of Dick Rogers, Space Detective. In tonight's episode, Dick and his assistant Harry are accosted by a figure from a dim corner of Dick's past. We also meet a pair of intrepid inventors whose work has the potential to change the galaxy as Dick knows it. There's danger, intrigue, suspense, and more in tonight's adventure. Dick Rogers and the Perfect Stranger.
The knock at my door woke me from a perfectly good stupor that I knew would now go to waste. Not many people can find me out here, and even fewer know how to slip past my assistant, whose main purpose is to watch the scanner and deny all visitors. I really will need to find better help as soon as I can afford it. The second knock at the door told me that whoever it was didn't have much time to waste, since the third knock was a flash of plasma and a hole where my guaranteed for life lock used to be. The door fell open and I could see that she meant business. Very few carry blasters from Galaxon 7 without also carrying a mean set of talons and a vendetta against all human life. The rough notches running along half the barrel that abruptly turned into neat vibro knife slices told me that when the weapon changed hands, it didn't change its mission or its head count.
I thought you would have holed up in a place that was harder to find, Mr. Dick.
First thing, Mr. Dick was my father's name. You should call me... first thing, you should learn how our surnames work. See,
Listen, I didn't come for a lesson in syntax. I came to find someone who knows their way around a blaster, a shuttle, and a lucrative shipment.
I don't know why you think I'm the one who can help you, but hey, you're the one with the blaster, so I'll grant you an audience.
You can dispense with the pretending, Mr. Dick. I know you. I saw your work on Myra Station.
Myra Station. Now there was a wonderful thing that had turned into a hell of a mess. For a long time, nothing needed much serious investigation there, just the odd lover's spat or corporate surveillance gig. Then it all turned south when...
Mr. Dick, you know what your problem is. You daydream far too often. At some point, someone will catch you when you aren't looking.
I wasn't daydreaming, I was narrating to myself. And besides, you caught me, and I was looking. Why not find someone...
Because I don't simply want someone, Mr. Dick. I need your set of... skills.
If you want a hired gun to run contraband, hire anyone down at Patty's on L9. That ain't my kind of gig.
Oh, Mr. Dick. I think it very much is your kind of gig. You see, you simply don't have a choice in the matter.
Boss, there's a lady here to see you, and I think she means business. Oh.
Perfect timing, as usual.
Well, it's not my fault. I told her to stop, but she kept walking past my desk.
So, what took you so long to rush in here?
I don't take kindly to interruptions.
Oh, ignore him. He's harmless.
Harmless?
Mostly. Now, please continue.
As I was saying, this is a simple cargo run to 11's Gate. It should be a straightforward task, even for you, Mr. Dick.
Well, with such a pretty face, what else can I do but help a damsel in distress? Her glare told me she was very much not a damsel, and that I would be on the receiving end of any distress she was involved with.
Boss, you're doing it again.
Quiet! I told you already, that's part of my job as a space detective.
If you're going to keep insulting me, I can always take this errand to one of your competitors.
No, that won't be necessary. I'll take the job.
Perfect. You'll find the freighter docked at P-17. All the arrangements have been made to launch at 0900 hours.
Just so you know, I'm not reducing my fee just because you did the legwork here.
Come on! I just told you it'd be quite lucrative.
Since I've got a motto in this business, always charge what you think they can pay you.
Boss, I think you need to come up with a better slogan.
Enough. If you both aren't on that ship when the launch window comes, you can kiss any fee goodbye.
Both of us?
Yes. There is some sensitive cargo hidden on board, and I can't risk anyone accidentally informing the Galactic Interstellar Forces about our arrangement.
All right, but a two-man job will cost you, well, not quite double what I would get, but at least 1.5.
Fine. You'll get everything you deserve at the end of this job.
It's a deal then. Now, where will you be when we get to 11's Gate?
Don't worry. I'll find you when the time is right. Now then, I have preparations of my own to make.
Sorry, boss. She just barged in and flashed the blaster at me. I couldn't stop her.
We'll talk about denying all visitors later. For now, we have a perfect job that just fell in our laps.
Sure, it seems good and all, and I'd love to make even half of what you make, but what if there's a catch?
Look, it's good money, and I'm sure she's harmless beneath that prickly exterior.
Mostly.
There's never a catch with Zithrams. We simply make the finest health and beauty products in the galaxy. Take our new and improved Zithrax hair tonic, for instance. You may be stranded alone in the cold vacuum of space, but at least your hair won't be sticking to your helmet like it does with those other hair tonics.
How is that possible? I've been floating out here for hours. There's no way it won't look greasy when I come back in.
That's because Zithrax hair tonic uses only the finest Arcturan conditioning lipids to hold and retain moisture without that oily feel. As you step out of that airlock, you'll find your hair looking as good as it did when you first went out for that routine maintenance check.
Speaking of which, where's the ship exactly? I didn't think you'd actually need to fly away just to do the commercial.
You'll never use another hair tonic again after you try Zithrax.
Am I on the right channel here? I think I'm broadcasting. Can you hear me?
Humans used to say that in space, no one can hear you scream. Well, not anymore. Zithrax hair tonic is so good, you'll want to scream in delight like the space banshees of the Carcon cluster.
Those are real? I thought those were a myth. They can't possibly be real, can they?
Zithrax hair tonic. Don't use that greasy human stuff. Try Zithrax today. Now, we return to the adventures of...
Return? I'm still out here. Hello? Kyle? Kyle? Is this about me dating your sister?
Dick Rogers, space detective.
Kyle!
We find ourselves across the galaxy as a couple brave adventurers start out on a quest of their own.
Do you really think a test flight is necessary?
Of course. We only proved it worked in the lab. If we can't demonstrate these results on a real ship, all this work will be for nothing.
I don't know about that. We could just file the patents, license them out, and make a fortune.
And let all of our hard work go to line the pockets of those corporate bastards?
I don't want that either. But if we end up splattered across half the galaxy, I'm holding you responsible.
In that case, you'll have to take it up with whatever stray atoms of mine you can find, because this warp drive is an all or nothing kind of deal.
Well, I guess we'll both end up as stars either way.
See, that's the spirit. Joking aside, I wouldn't take this risk without being pretty damn sure we can pull it off. If we do, interstellar travel will never be the same again.
You can say that again. From Nebulon Prime to Levin's Gate in 4 hours? That's faster than anyone knew was possible.
And that's why we can't have just anyone testing it. So far, we're the only ones in the universe that knows it exists.
All right, boss. Let's check over the particle shield modulator again. The field wasn't quite the strength I expected last time I checked.
You know I'm not your boss. We're in this together. I'm definitely not going to fire this thing up without your approval.
As the intrepid inventors set off to disobey the laws of physics and several interstellar travel regulations, we return to our hero, Dick Rogers, as he and his assistant Harry make their way to the dockyards.
I'm just saying, boss, if she has everything set to go, why even hire us?
Hire me, you mean? She's just making me take you along so you don't spill the beans to anyone after a few drinks at Patty's tonight.
I'm just saying, why not do it herself?
You gotta learn this about the business. Asking why isn't always part of the job. Somebody wants something done, I do it.
But aren't you the least bit curious about this job?
Listen, I know that you're new at this. Just follow my lead here, and I'll make out like a bandit.
Don't you mean we?
Right. We pull this off, your next paycheck will be double the last one. Now, hurry up. We have a launch window to meet.
Great! Wait, I haven't even gotten my first paycheck yet.
Does your hair leave you wondering whether you're looking your dapper best in the captain's chair? Do you ever catch your ensigns talking behind your back, only to discover at the end of the day your mane looked as wild as the Leonid cluster?
Why, yes. I can hardly make it through a busy day on the bridge without sneaking off to fix this mess. If only there was a way to reroute full power to hair control.
Now you're in luck! With the new and improved Zithrax hair tonic, you'll never lose that luster and perfect hold, no matter which monster you're battling this week.
That sounds fantastic. However, you should know that there is a deeper narrative going on here. It's not just fighting a series of enemies who can be beaten in exactly 44 minutes, or 39 in syndication.
That doesn't matter with Zithrax hair tonic. Your coif will stay as perfect today as it does so that when they finally make you an action figure next season.
Captain, I'm picking up a signal. It's faint, but it seems to be coming from a single spacesuit. What should we do?
Who would leave someone stranded out here? It takes a certain kind of cruelty to abandon a soul to the darkness of space. Change course to point 27 and prepare to rendezvous.
Aye, aye, sir.
I'm going to step off the bridge for a moment, but I expect a full report when I return. Lieutenant, you have the command.
Copy that, sir. That's the third time today. They think we don't notice them stepping out to fix their perfect coif every commercial break?
You never know what you'll find out there, but you'll never have to worry about what you see in the mirror when you're using Zithrat's hair tonic.
Wow, I can feel the difference already. This isn't greasy like that standard issue Fleet Command hair gel.
That's because Fleet Command doesn't use authentic Archuran conditioning lipids, which you'll find in every bottle of Zithrat's hair tonic. No matter what your day brings, go boldly with the classic luster of Zithrat's.
Lieutenant, report.
We've picked up the stranded astronaut. It seems they were abandoned out here during some kind of advertising stunt. It's hard to tell for sure. They were nearly hysterical.
Let's meet him at the airlock. Phaser's on stun. We have no idea what kind of state they're in.
When you're in a tense situation, the one thing you need to be able to count on is your hair. Stop taking a chance on that greasy Fleet Command stuff. Make it so with Zithrat's hair tonic today. We now return to Kate and Myra, half a galaxy away, preparing to fire up a warp drive faster than man ever thought possible. Faster than humankind ever thought possible.
Where are we at on the subsystems?
I've got the particle shield field in the ideal range. Did you check the Bechdel transmodulator?
It's passing the internal tests. Let me see if we're getting any crosstalk. Nope, we're good. Everything's green on my board.
I think everything's set. You know, it's not too late to turn around and go back to the lab to run the drive for more simulations.
What's the matter? We've done all the simulations and tests we can, and it's passed with flying colors up till this point.
I know. It's just that if something goes wrong, we could...
I know what you're saying. Believe me. I've thought about it plenty of times myself. But in everything worth doing, there's always some risk. I wouldn't blame you one bit if you wanted to stay behind. I'm not going to rope you into anything.
No, you're right. Let's make the jump.
On my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
With these brave souls stepping off into the unknown, we turn back to our real hero, Dick Rogers,
Hey!
as he sets the course for Levin's Gate.
Harry, set the course for Levin's Gate, will you?
Right away.
See, this isn't so bad. We've got this whole freighter to ourselves, and we just have to make a short hop to Levin's Gate. We'll be back in no time.
I guess it does remind me of my childhood. My folks had one of those R700s when I was growing up. They had to make a living trading goods from system to system.
Great, great. So you'll be right at home on the bridge here. I'll just be in the lounge until we can land and collect our fee.
Isn't this still just a bit suspicious? I mean, for one thing, we have no idea who or what might be looking for this cargo or this ship.
Hey, look! They have a decent holovid selection on the system. Ooh, I've never seen this Englorpian always knocks twice.
Also, why did the lady who hired us seem to know who you were?
You make as many friends and enemies as I do. Kid, you kind of lose track after a while.
But she kept calling you by the wrong name. Why was she calling you Mr. Dick?
Probably just confused about how Earth names work. Tends to happen from time to time.
I still feel like something's off. Everything just seems to be too perfect about this job.
Just relax, will you? We'll be 75,000 credits richer in no time. What did you do this time?
That wasn't me. I wasn't even touching the controls. We just lost all engine power, and whatever it is also took out our comms.
So you mean we're dead in the water?
Well, no, we're dead in space.
Oh, for the love of it's just an expression.
Finally, Mr. Dick, we meet again.
What? Who's there?
It's the intercom, boss.
It's me, Mr. Dick. Maxine Horn. I know you'd never forget me, no matter how hard you pretend.
Who's that, boss?
Not the time for questions, Harry. Maxine Horn? I've never heard that name in my life.
Oh, you think you can play dumb with me? You should know by now that that game doesn't work on me, Roger.
Roger? Who's Roger?
You, Mr. Dick. You also pretend to not know me. Maxine Horn, out of all your former partners?
She was your partner?
I still don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Then why didn't you ask who I was earlier?
I figured it would come to me eventually. I've forgotten a lot of people.
I'll help you remember one name. Roger Dick. Or should I quote your advertisement? Roger Dick, private investigator of the stars.
Hey, that's a good tagline, boss. You should try that instead of Space Detective.
Not the time or place, Harry.
You probably thought it was clever to hide under an alias out here. Next time, you should probably pick something further away from your own name. Not that there will be a next time for you.
That's not a fake name. I am Dick Rogers, Space Detective. I don't even advertise.
Then why didn't you correct me when I called you Mr. Dick?
You seemed unclear on how human surnames work. It's a common mistake. You see...
I understand how they work. In fact, you even confirmed Mr. Dick was also your father's name.
What? That's just an ancient Earth joke. How come nobody has a sense of humor in space?
I'm not as clueless on human culture as you might think. But that's... What is your expression? Neither here nor there. You see, I'm about to vent your atmosphere, and you're about to die. Our last great mission together, Roger.
For crying out loud! I'm not Roger! I'm Dick! Dick Rogers! Space Detective. You seem to think we have a history, but I've never seen you in my life.
You think you can fool me, Roger? I know you. I was there on Myra Station 3 years ago when you...
Wait, hold on. 3 years ago?
Yes. You got into some trouble with one of the great crime families and I...
They ran me off Myris more than 5 years ago. I can't step foot in that place without being arrested. Thanks to your friend, Roger.
Really? That can't be right. Let me check something. Oh, well, me. You're telling the truth. All you humans look alike.
Well, that's certainly not a very cultured opinion.
Cultured or not, I can't let either of you go now. Well, you might not be Mr. Dick. I'm afraid you're still going to end up facing my vengeance.
Why me? I'm harmless. Mostly.
You're simply caught up in this affair, and I can't afford any loose ends. Take the matter of hazard pay up with your boss while you still have air on the bridge. You'll find the rest of the ship has already been vented.
Vented?
Hazard pay?
I've never been one for pleasantries, so let me just say goodbye.
All right. I know what's coming. Don't say I told you so.
No, well, I would say that, but we don't have much time to waste here.
What do you mean? We've got nothing to do but wait until the air runs out.
Well, no, we can use the emergency suits from this locker to buy a little more time. Each one has enough oxygen for half a day of normal activity. So we'll last way longer in these.
I knew there was a reason I hired you.
Plus, there's a manual emergency hatch on the bridge on all R-series freighters. Outside of the ship, the suit's radios might have a chance of reaching somebody passing by, and the maneuvering thrusters can give us some momentum.
I admire the guts, kid, but even that is a pretty hopeless situation.
It's the only chance we have. Plus, it gives us more time to talk about that hazard pay.
Let's get these things on, and then we'll talk.
Will Dick Rogers and his assistant Harry survive the cold, dead reaches of space? Will anyone hear their voices out in the dark unknown? You'll have to keep it tuned to this station. For now, we check in our heroines and their groundbreaking warp drive.
I can't believe it. We're almost there. Halfway across the galaxy in just under 4 hours. This is going to change everything. Bet you're glad you came along for the test flight now, huh?
And let you have all the glory? You know there's nobody else I'd rather trek across the galaxy with than you.
We're almost to Levin's Gate. Let's drop out of warp now.
Why not wait until we get closer?
I don't think we want to just appear in orbit around an inhabited planet. Better to travel that last leg at sublight speed.
Shutting down warp drive now.
Wait. What's this?
Oh no. Did we melt the transducer crystals?
No, it's emergency beacons from a pair of spacesuits? No idea what they're doing all the way out here.
Well, let's stop and help them.
Are you kidding? We have a one-of-a-kind warp drive on board. We can't be taking in people with prying eyes.
So we don't let them in the engine room. You have to help anyone stranded out here. It's space law.
Oh, all right, fine. But if anything looks funny, we don't let them on board. They can survive in the airlock until we get to Levin's Gate.
What will our brave innovators find when they take in 2 castaways? We'll find out in a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor. Perfect hair is never far away with Zithrax Hair Tonic.
Take that helmet off so we can see who you are.
You would not believe the day I've had. First, I get dragged out here to shoot some stupid commercial, and then they just fly away like...
Well, from the looks of your hair, I'd say you hardly broke a sweat.
Boy, I sure was worried there for a second.
About your hair or about your oxygen?
Both!
Keep the good times coming with Zithrax Hair Tonic. Leave that greasy earthling stuff behind and get that starry luster back today. With the castaways safely in the lock, Kate and Myra take a look at who they just picked up.
I don't like the looks of them. That one looks like nothing but a scoundrel to me.
I'll say.
You'll say what?
I mean, they do look questionable. And by that, I mean we'd better bring them in for questioning.
Bring them in? No, we let them ride in the airlock the rest of the way. They have oxygen, they'll survive. Wait, where are you going? Don't tell me you opened that door.
Moments later, inside the airlock, we find Dick regaling Kate and Myra with tales of his space bravery.
So there we were, stuck on the bridge with limited air and even less time, and I knew I had to act. I got us both these emergency suits and used the manual hatch.
Wow. How did you know what to do so quickly?
You see, I've spent my fair share of time around an R700. You get to know these kinds of things when you've seen as much as I have.
I'll bet you have plenty of experience.
Oh, for the love of the stars. First man you see out here and you just can't help falling over him.
Just so you know, I am also available.
Not interested.
That does it for this week's adventures of Dick Rogers, Space Detective. Brought to you by Zithrax Hair Tonic. Never leave your airlock without it. Tune in next time as Dick encounters a mystery, a missing person, and a very sticky situation.
And that was Dick Rogers and the Perfect Stranger, coming to you from a dedicated bunch of nerds that's Northeast Radio Drama Society, because
Everywhere is northeast of somewhere. Thanks again for joining us, Daniel.
It's been a blast.
I was a little worried about having other nerds on the show, but you're right. 5 stars, would recommend.
Speaking of other nerds...
Right.
Ooh, yeah, we've got a special treat in store for you next month.
Can I read it?
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
This whole project to preserve and share the adventures of Dick Rogers, Space Detective, first saw the light of day last year when a group of us nerds, including the 4 of us here today, came together to present 2 live stream performances of Dick Rogers scripts. We were so happy with the audio quality of the second live stream that we decided to present them on the podcast, just as they were.
Except different.
True. We thought it might be too jarring to totally abandon the podcast format you've been hearing for the last few months.
So, you'll get intros featuring us and Skeevy Mike.
Not you two.
And if we can wrangle schedules, we'll have other nerds who were on the live stream join us.
And I'll try to be nicer to them.
But until next time, thanks again for joining us.
Make sure you get Dick Rogers, Space Detective tattooed on your forehead so everyone you meet will ask you about it. Trust me, it'll make spreading the word about the podcast way easier.
And be sure to find us on social media.
Hit them with the handles. Skeevy Dan.
Hey!
We're on Facebook at Dick Rogers Pod, on Instagram at Dick Rogers Space Detective, on Twitter at Rogers Space. You can join the nerds on Patreon on patreon.com/space_detective. And incidentally, Skeevy Dan was my nickname in high school.
And make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, which will make it much easier to join us for your next Dick appointment. Same space time, same space place.
Wait, Dick appointment?
This episode's nerds are Wendy Wilwert as Joanna, Angela Ventris as Eleanor, Myra, and Captain, Michael Storm as Mike Nutley and Announcer, Logan Wright as Daniel Castle, Harry, and Floating Astronaut, Nicholas Johnson as Dick Rogers and Lieutenant, Emily Anderson as Maxine Horn, Kate, and Ensign. Dick Rogers and the Perfect Stranger was written by Michael Storm, sound design by Michael Storm, music by Nicholas Johnson, audio editing by Nicholas Johnson.